Coming to our first speaker, Swasti Patil. She's a 10-year-old unschooled girl from Pune. Apart from math, she loves to spend her free time singing, making things out of clay, playing jalatarang, spending time in a garden, and reading. She's also an actress, and she's into theater and has won various awards in theater art. She's part of the Capreka batch, and Capreka is a part of her. As most of you might know, Capreka is a renowned amateur mathematician. So last year, she gave a talk on the life of Capreka that was attended by 100 participants. Her first publication in math, yes, you heard me right, she's only 10 years old and she's already going to be publishing her first article. It's appearing in the Right Angles magazine. The Right Angles is an e-magazine by the Azim Premji Foundation. So that's going to be happening next month. Over to you, Swasti.
Thank you so much, Sindhu ma'am, for that kind introduction. So let's start. Hello everyone, and so first of all, let's see what is biomechanics. So it's basically studying and copying nature for human benefit. Let's see some examples. So the first example is a JCB. So a JCB and a hand are very similar. I'll elaborate on the next slide. And a boat and a fish are also similar. An airplane and, as you might have guessed, a bird are similar. And so robotics and AI. So a robot is basically a copy of humans, and AI is basically a copy of human brain. So this is a JCB, and this black part. So you can, this joint of your hand is similar to this part over there, and also your elbow. So you can move your hand like that, and the JCB can also move its hand like that, and then your shoulder. So you can move your hand like that, and the JCB can move its hand like that using this part. So when a fish swims, what happens is that because of its shape, the water can slide like that gracefully. So using this, we created a boat. So its shapes are very similar. You can see that. And this is an airplane. So behind of an airplane, there is a fan whose blades are similar to a bird's wings. This is a robot, and no need to say that it looks like a human. These are some bamboos, and they're hollow. So if I ask you which one would be harder to break, a felt stick or a hollow stick, you'll probably answer a felt stick, right? But that is not right. A hollow stick is harder to break. And I think that is why some bamboos are hollow. It gives them more strength. And we use this in a cycle. So this is the top tube, this is the down tube, and this is the C tube, and they are all hollow. This is a leaf, and you can see that it's staying straight. Unlike this paper, if you hold it like that, it's going to bend down. But the reason behind this is that there are two reasons. The first reason is that there are sticks. These sticks help the leaf to stay straight. And another reason is that it has a wavy structure. You can see it over here. So if you make a fan out of paper and then hold it, it's not going to bend down, right? It's going to stay straight. And then I saw another leaf. So it does not have a wavy structure, but it still stays straight. So here is the leaf. You can see that it's curved around the edges. So if you curve a paper around the edges and then hold it, it's not going to fall down. So, and now let's see where we use these two. So, this is a roof, and you can see that it's wavy. So, this waviness gives the roof more strength. And these are some cardboards. You can see that there are some wavy papers inside it. So if you tear the cardboard, then these wavy papers are very thin. So even when they're thin, the cardboard is very strong, right? So the waviness also gives the cardboard more strength, and it also helps the cardboard to stay straight. This is a pizza, and so if you hold a pizza like this, then you won't be able to eat it. But then if you hold it like that, the contents will not fall down, and then you will be able to eat it. Yay! This is similar to the leaf we saw earlier. And this is a concept called curvature. If you want to learn more about it, here is a beautiful video, and it's a very good video. You can watch it if you're interested. Here is something in nature which we have copied. This is a climber, and this is its support. So the climber holds the support using a thread which has two springs. You can see them, this one and this one. One is clockwise and one is anti-clockwise. So what is the reason behind this? Why couldn't it just be one single thread with no springs, like this? Or why couldn't it just be one spring instead of two springs, like this? So let's see what will happen in these two cases. So here, what will happen is that if there's a big rain or a heavy storm, the thread will bend in the direction of the wind. So it will just break. So this is not a very good solution. In this case, so let's do a thought experiment first. If you take a spring and then compress it, you can feel the pressure on your fingers. And even if you expand it, you can still feel the pressure on your fingers. So if there's a heavy storm, what will happen is that the pressure, the spring will either compress or expand. So the pressure will be on the climber, and again the thread will just break. So even though this is better than this, it's still not the best solution. Now let's see what will happen if there are two springs, like in Finland. So if there's a heavy storm, one of the springs will compress, and using that energy, the other spring will expand. So no harm will come to the thread. And humans use it in a shock absorber. So if you're sitting in a car and going on a road which has lots of pits, what this shock absorber does is that it has two springs, one clockwise and one anti-clockwise. So if the car is going down, one of the spring compresses and the other expands. And when you're going up, the one which compressed earlier will expand, and the one which expanded earlier will compress, right? So humans have progressed a lot so far. They've gone to different planets. They've invented a lot of stuff and also a lot other things. But whenever I look at a tall building, what I think is that, is this building really sustainable? So one thing in nature which is common is that everything which comes from nature goes back to the nature. So does this building really go back to the nature? Humans, animals, insects, and birds actually make shelters for themselves or their babies, which go back to the nature. So this was very fascinating for me. Let's see some of the examples. So this is by a kind of wasp, and this is by a caterpillar. And when the caterpillar left its home, this is what was remaining. This is a nest of a red-winged bulbul. And it's actually the perfect place for the babies. It's made into a banana tree. You can see that. This is a video of a tailor bird's nest. You can see that it's woven into a leaf, and by the time the leaf is dried, the babies are already grown up and flown away. So they grow up so fast. Compared to them, we are like very slow creatures. This is by a hornet, and this is by a potter wasp. Um, what a potter wasp does is that it lays eggs inside these we can say pots, and then it gives anesthesia to some caterpillars, and then it puts the caterpillars inside this pot, and then it just closes the pot. The end of the pot. So so when the babies are out of the eggs, by the time the caterpillars are now alive, and they're not in their anesthesia. So the babies have, we can say, the menu ready for them. And when the babies grow up, they just break the pot and then come out. Here is the one which fascinated me the most. So this is by an ant, by a kind of ant, and you can see that it's made on a slant surface. So if there's some rain, what will happen is that the water will trickle down from here like that, or maybe from here. So the water will not enter their house, which is over here. So this is a very simple fact, but where do they learn these things? Do they have teachers, parents, and friends like us? Thank you so much for joining me today in this session. And you can, if you have any questions or if you want to discuss something, then you can email me at swastipvt@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Swasti. That was just fascinating. And what intrigued me the most was that been so patient, because observing things in nature takes time and patience, and that you've done that. And for a 10-year-old to talk about big ideas like sustainability, even, nowadays it's all the fashion now to build mud houses, but the fact that it's always there, and it's just that we've moved away from all these practices. And for a 10-year-old to even think about such big ideas, I think it's very inspiring for us to hear it from you. And it also gives us a lot of hope. There is good things with young citizens like you, who one day will become leaders and encourage such good ideas. Thank you, Swasti. I have a feeling that a lot of this is because of the farm that you live in, right? You live in a house with a lot of garden, and did you take all these pictures from there?
Yes, some of them are from my garden, and some of them are from some treks I go to.
Okay, okay. And Swasti actually lives in Pune, so it's not like she lives in a big farm. And all this is happening in her small garden in her house, right, Swasti?
Yes.
Okay, fascinating. Thank you so much, Swasti. If any of you have questions, please raise your hand and we can start taking them.
Until some of them may have questions, I have a question to Swasti. So, Swasti, you spoke about sustainability and how animals build their homes, which go back to the nature, right? But our tall buildings and other things, they don't go back to the nature as easily as it can be, right? But for animals, they don't have to worry about a lot of other things also, no? As in, they don't have to worry about what we can say, building a house that will last for a long time and other things. So in your experience, have you come across some other better way of for humans to live in a sustainable environment where it suits the nature as well. If so, I mean, which can be practically implemented. Have you come across any such thing?
Yeah, so Adivasi live in jungle, so they build some houses which are sustainable, right? That's why they can live there.
Right, right. Okay,
And
thank
also
you.
mud houses and all of that, right,
Yeah.
Swasti? It's a myth to think that they don't last a long time. I think Kashyap has a question. Kashyap, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes. So you were talking about the wasp nests and all, right? So you had put another image next to the wasp nests. So what insect? I mean, what animal? What creature lays its eggs in those small holes and then blocks it in? And why does it do that?
It's my potter wasp, and I don't know why it does that. So I think it's because when the babies grow up, when they break the pot, it takes them a bit strength to do that, and from there they become strong enough to live in the world.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And Swasti, can you define what biomechanics is?
So I think it's just studying and copying nature for human benefit.
Great. And I think if we copy some of these sustainable ideas, this world will last for a longer time, right, Swasti?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Vinay, can we move on to the next speaker?
Yes.